Nothing's ever really gone. Except this. This is about to be gone because this is part 4 of the Rise of Skywalker rewrite. I am so excited. Before we get to it, 3 things real quick. First, this video is sponsored by CuriosityStream and the streaming service Nebula, which I helped to create, so I talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video. Second, this video is also brought to you by my patrons. The whole Rise of Skywalker rewrite was a 500th patron goal, so once we hit that goal, I started working on the series, so thank you to everyone that's a patron. If you've ever thought about it, patreon.com/NandoVMovies. There are 2 new goals up there now. The first one is after 700 patrons, I'm going to do something like this for the Fantastic Four movies. Which movies? How many videos? Who knows? That's something I'm going to figure out at the time. And then at 1,000, I'm going to do a video about Quibi, something I talked about a lot on my podcast, mostly Nitpicking, and I was kind of obsessed with for a little bit because I find it fascinating. So become a patron if you want to see those videos. Last thing before the rewrite, and I usually don't say this, but this is a thing that you're supposed to say if you're a YouTuber. Subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this videos. If you're not yet subscribed, share the videos with a friend if you're into this sort of, one small change, rewrite kind of thing. That's what I do. Usually I make videos about scenes from movies, all kinds of fun stuff. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about part 4. This is part 4 of the Rise of Skywalker rewrite. If you have not seen parts 1, 2, or 3, I would definitely recommend checking them out now. The links are in the video description. And even if you haven't seen them in a while, it's probably a good idea to give it a refresher. You can watch all 4 in the playlist that is also in this video description. Like, you can watch it from start to finish. But, maybe you're busy, you don't have time. I get it. So here's a quick recap of everything that's happened so far. If you don't need it, you can go to this time in the video. Okay.
Kylo Ren executes General Hux and replaces him with a scientist named General Pride. Rey, Finn, Poe, Rose, BB-8, and Claude go on a mission to discover what the First Order is after on the planet Batuu. It turns out Kylo Ren has plans that involve a new form of Kyber, the Force-sensitive mineral that's used in lightsabers in the Death Star. During their mission, the heroes are ambushed by 2 Knights of Ren, one of whom Rey fights. During the escape, Poe shoots 2 stormtroopers, who he is not aware are surrendering to Finn and attempting to switch sides. The team travels back to the new Resistance base on Cloud City and has a meeting with the other Resistance leaders that is interrupted by a fleet of First Order starfighters. The older characters are captured as Rey, Finn, Poe, Rose, BB-8, and Claude escape. They travel to Savareen, a planet that Nando believes may be where the Kyber was refined. Poe and Finn get into an argument about the stormtroopers that Poe killed. Rey and Rose talk about a contingency plan in case they get captured. On Savareen, the team is caught by the new governor of Savareen, Zorii Bliss, who Poe is able to figure out is actually his old friend, Zena Breen. Zena was a New Republic pilot who disappeared after her best friend was killed. She gave up fighting, created a new identity, and made a life for herself, running a refinery planet. Back on the First Order ship, Kylo Ren interrogates some Resistance captains, including Chewbacca, and eventually learns where our heroes were going. Poe, Rose, BB-8, and Claude try to figure out the team's next move. Finn talks to Zorii about leaving the war. Rey communes with the Kyber and accidentally force Skypes with Kylo Ren, who is just entering the atmosphere of Savareen, along with the rest of the First Order forces. The team attempts to leave Savareen, but is stopped by Kylo Ren. They crash on Savareen, and Rose, BB-8, and Claude are captured. Poe catches a stormtrooper off guard, but he lets her go because of his talk with Finn. He is then captured by a Knight of Ren. Rey fights Kylo, who, to her surprise, takes one of the Jedi texts from her, because that is what he has been after this whole time. Right before Kylo kills Rey, Finn and Zorii appear in a ship. Zorii was inspired by Finn's dedication to his friends. They shoot Kylo and escape with Rey. Rey, Finn, and Zorii travel to Ahch-To, where Rey cannot find Luke Skywalker's ghost and breaks down. Finn and Rey talk about the Force, which inspires Rey to try to commune with Kylo Ren to see where he's going. Rey and Finn learn that Kylo is going to a forgotten temple on Jedha that is filled with Kyber. Rey takes Luke's X-Wing and goes to stop Kylo. On Jedha, Kylo meets the ghost of Chirrut Imwe, the temple's guardian, who warns Kylo that you cannot corrupt Kyber without a cost. On the First Order ship, the Vantage, Poe is freed by the stormtrooper he spared. and they attempt to contact Finn because Finn is an icon among the stormtroopers, and Finn may be able to start a stormtrooper rebellion. Okay. Rey arrives on Jedha. She searches for the temple. When she finds the entrance, it's guarded by 6 Knights of Ren. And this seems like too many. Rey can take 1 easily, maybe 2, maybe 3, but 6 is too many. Rey's worried, but she knows she needs to get into the temple to stop Kylo Ren. So Rey gets ready to make a move when the Knights receive a communication. It's from General Pride. He says, "I need help up here. Something is happening in subsection 8 of the Vantage. Stormtroopers are dropping out of contact. I hear it might be the Jedi." They say, "Kylo Ren ordered us to guard the temple entrance." Pride says, "Well, while Kylo Ren is out of reach, I am in charge. Send 3 of you up to the ship, and I assume the other 3 can guard the temple." Then, 3 of the Knights of Ren get in a ship and leave. This is perfect. Rey has the window of opportunity she needs, so Rey ambushes the Knights of Ren, knocks them out, brushes into the temple, pulling down some rocks behind her so the Knights can't follow her. Now it is just Rey and Kylo in the temple. Meanwhile, we learn that the Stormtrooper disturbance is Poe, Jannah, the Stormtrooper who freed Poe, and a team of loyal Stormtroopers making a play for some communications equipment. They're shooting the other Stormtroopers, but only with the stun function on the blasters. It isn't as effective, but it's how they've chosen to fight this battle. Avoid as many casualties as possible. They make it to a communications array, and Poe sends a message. We see Finn and Zorii working on repairing her ship, and they get the transmission. Finn tells Zorii that he has his communicator set to a secret resistance frequency. Finn hears Poe say, "This is Poe Dameron of the Resistance. If you're out there, Finn, we need you here. You were right, buddy. Stormtroopers are like you. A lot of them don't want to fight this war. If you come to Jedha and lead them, I think we can finally end the First Order. I'm sending some coordinates where you can meet the team. May the Force be with you." So Finn gets the transmission, and they take off in the ship and leave for Jedha. Meanwhile, Rey walks through the Jedi Temple. She looks around and sees the Force ghost of Chirrut Imwe sitting on a chair, tossing a rock up in the air. Rey says, "Are you this temple's guardian?" "Indeed." And then he goes back to throwing the rock. Rey asks, "Do you have something to tell me? A prophecy? A warning?" "For you? No, you have everything you need. But my destiny, nothing? Destiny? Destiny has caused this galaxy nothing but trouble. Your destiny is what you choose to make of it." Okay. So nothing. Advice? Use the Force? Oh, no. No. No? No. The Force is not something to be used. It's something to be shared. To become one with. It is not a weapon. The Force is, Rey interrupts him, balance. That binds the universe together. That's it. Consider that my advice. Good luck. It was nice meeting you. May the Force be with you. Then Chirrut vanishes, and Rey continues into the temple. In the atmosphere of Jedha, Poe realizes that they need a distraction to give Finn an opportunity to safely fly into the Vantage. So Poe, Jannah, and a couple of stormtroopers take some TIE fighters and start attacking the Vantage, taking out the guns, turrets, making sure not to kill anyone. The rest of the rebelling stormtroopers stay on the Vantage and take over the hangar. Finn and Zorii enter the atmosphere on Jedha and see the Vantage. It's huge. Zorii says, "Whoa, he didn't say we were sneaking onto that. How are we going to get past their fighters?" Then, Finn notices there's a small squad of stormtroopers taking on the Vantage's defenses. It must be Poe. He knows how to piss the First Order off. Then, a fleet of TIE fighters launches from the Vantage and follows Poe's ships away from the Vantage into open space. This is the window Zorii and Finn need, so they fly into the hangar that's occupied by the rebelling stormtroopers. Zorii and Finn exit their ship. Zorii first. The stormtroopers say, "Identify yourself." Zorii says, Whoa. I'm with him." And then Finn emerges from the ship. All of the stormtroopers remove their helmets in disbelief. He walks through and finds the one who seems to be in charge. He says, I'm here to send a message. Then we see Poe flying around in the TIE Fighter, being pursued by a humongous fleet. It's looking bad for him. Poe's troops are cornered. But then, Poe hears on the radio, "My name is Finn. You may know me as FN2187, or the Deserter. I've traveled a long way to tell you, it's not your fault. You were brainwashed, since birth, to do terrible things. But I know, deep down, you feel it. What you're doing, it's wrong, but you never knew another way. I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do that anymore. There is another way, with hope and light, and darkness cannot defeat light. So come on, join the winning side." And then the TIEs chasing Poe peel off, one by one, and they just stop. Poe turns his ship around and sees the entire fleet of TIE fighters sitting in space, and Poe can't believe it. The doors to the hangar open and the other stormtroopers enter the hangar with their blasters at their side and their masks off. But then we hear a transmission. Through the ships. It's Pride. "Resistance scum. You think you can trick our great soldiers into surrendering, and to their certain death. Luckily, only a small portion of our army even received your message. And we will use the might of the Vantage to destroy your puny resistance and anyone who dares to defect. Think."
Now, if you take only one thing from this rewrite, one bit that I think would fit into the actual Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, take this. Not only could it easily fit in his headcanon, I think you could actually animate this bit and put it into Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and it would make the moment way more fun. So anyway, Pride says, "We have everything. What do you have?" Poe looks for a second, closes his eyes, opens them and says, "We have hope." Because what a disservice it would be to Poe and the entire thesis of all of these movies if Poe said, "Oh, I don't know, I'm sorry, there's too many of them," and then just kind of gave up. Anyway, Poe says, "We have hope." And then we hear a voice that we recognize say, "Oh, we've got more than that." And then, and honestly, this is the one thing, silence. Poe looks out to open space, and he sees one starship come out of hyperspace. Not a starship we recognize, just a starship. And it comes in with that big bump, and that's the only thing we hear. Then we're going to do 3 more, 2 more, 18 more, and 1 more. And it's going to go like this. 1 comes in, bump. 3 more come in, bump, bump, bump. 2 more come in, bump, bump. A beat, 18 more. Bum 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 bum. Then 3 big ships. Bum bum bum. And then finally the Falcon, victorious, leading the new army of the Resistance. Ships start peppering into the background as the Star Wars theme proper kicks in, and all the new ships start stunning enemy starfighters. This is it. This is the big moment that Star Wars Rise of Skywalker was missing. Portals, but different. And honestly, kind of better because we are able to incorporate what is debatably the most well-known theme in the history of cinema. And we can use it to make a point. But for it to work, this moment needs to start with 1 ship. Just 1. Followed by more and more. A build, a hopeful cavalry, reinforcing Poe's belief that there are good people who want to help them. But it has to start with 1.
Poe explains his plan to the Resistance. Okay, they don't know we're on their side, so we need to stop their TIE fighters, but don't kill them. Only stun. They need to see that we're not trying to hurt them. And we'll need to take out their autocannons on the Vantage. Let's show them who we are. So now we get this new fleet in action, using ion missiles to lower shields and knock out systems, but leave the enemy ships intact. And some of the First Order pilots realize this and, are confused. Why aren't the Resistance ships destroying us? Has something changed? Back on Jedha, Rey descends the stairs and makes her way to the main room of the temple, and this room is bizarre. It is made entirely out of kyber. Crystal floors, walls, ceilings, columns, statues of Jedi's past. And at the far end of the room, Rey sees Kylo Ren, standing on an altar and using his power to bend the kyber to his will. It glows red, like his armor. He sees Rey and stops. They face off. Kylo tells Rey his actual plan, which, okay, so he's been building a new army of Force-sensitive stormtroopers, Sith troopers. Their minds are being subdued by a device created by General Pryde, so they're essentially blank slates. And to control the troopers, Kylo Ren needs to draw power from this kyber to amplify his own abilities. With his new army, Kylo Ren will have complete control over the galaxy. And that's the conflict of the movie, freedom versus control. Characters realizing that they can make choices to change things for the better, breaking the cycle that has continued for generations. So Rey and Kylo Ren duel. This will be especially fun because of the setting, just visually. And when he is able to knock Rey back, Kylo drains a little bit of the temple's power from the walls or floor near him, causing the kyber around him to glow even redder. Small cracks begin to form. Back in space, Poe and Lando are leading a successful raid on the Vantage. They're taking out the ship's cannons, and it seems like they're meeting less resistance from the TIE fighters. Maybe the enemy can see that this is the beginning of the end for the First Order. Anyway, things are turning around. And on the Vantage, Finn and Zorii are leading some stormtroopers to rescue other heroes who include Rose, Chewie, Claude, Leia, Snap, Connix, 3PO, R2-D2, Akbar's kid, Maz, and any other main characters of note. They all load into a few ships to escape. Finn radios Poe and tells him that they need to help Rey. Poe says, "Wait, she isn't with you?" "No, she's on Jedha, following Kylo Ren into a temple." "Well, let's go get her. Lando, can you take care of the fleet?" "Copy that, flyboy." So then, Lando stays and leads the new Resistance fleet, and Poe and Janna's ships peel off and meet the other heroes as they make their way to Jedha. But Kylo Ren has affected the planet. By draining the kyber, everything's becoming unstable, and that creates a huge storm that separates the ships. Poe and BB-8, Janna, and the ships carrying Zorii, Finn, Rose, and Chewie make it through. But the ships with the other characters don't make it, so they need to find another way through. Back to Kylo Ren and Rey. They're still fighting. Cool fighting. Like, listen, this is an action scene that's pretty tricky to describe, so suffice it to say, they are fighting, and Kylo Ren is winning. And with every hit, he manages to draw more power from the kyber around him. Finn, Poe, BB-8, Rose, Chewie, Janna, and Zorii all grab some weapons and head to the temple, where they find the 6 Knights of Ren, guarding the temple door. Zorii says, "I've got a bad feeling about this." Poe says, "Oh, they don't want you guys up there?" Referencing the Vantage. Ushar says, "We don't serve Pryde. We serve Kylo Ren. Once Kylo Ren draws the energy from the temple, the First Order will be nothing compared to the power of the new Order of Ren." Everyone gets their weapons ready. Good guys have some blasters, some batons, some staffs. Rose has a shield. Finn is using that Tonfa weapon that he killed Phasma with, because that weapon is awesome. Vikral says, "You fools, we will use the Force to rip the skin from your flesh." And Finn laughs and says, "Huh, that's not how the Force works." And then the battle starts. We cut between Kylo versus Rey and the heroes versus the Knights. And in both cases, our heroes are getting beaten. Slowly but surely, the Knights corner the heroes at the blocked entrance of the temple, and Kylo knocks Rey down, her lightsaber falls away. Things look bad. Kylo Ren says, "This never belonged to you. Bringing order to the galaxy was my burden, my destiny. You don't deserve that power." And Rey realizes something. She thinks, and then says, "You're right. I don't deserve this much power. No one does." And then Rey puts her hand on the floor and creates a pulse. Sends Kylo Ren back a bit. This isn't like a huge explosion, but something happened. Rey stands up. Kylo looks at her and senses something. "You're weak. The Force. Your power. You have but a fraction of it. What did you do?" Rey says, "I shared it. Kylo is shocked. With who? Rey smiles. Cut to Finn's eyes opening. Then Poe's, Rose's, Chewie's, Janna's, Zori's. They have all been imbued with some of Rey's power. I mean, it's not really Rey's power or Kylo's power. The Force is a balance, a tension. It binds us. Rey is able to use the Kyber on the planet to transfer her power to her friends. And now they can turn the fight around. But this doesn't mean they're all doing backflips and stuff like that. They're slightly more in sync with each other, protecting one another, switching opponents, catching the knights off guard. And they win, knock them all out. And then with Chewie's help, they're able to move the rocks blocking the entrance to the temple. Back inside, Kylo gets angry. He can't understand what Rey just did, giving up power. The temple pulses with his rage. And the power gets the better of him. He becomes sloppy. Kylo lunges at Rey, misses, and slams into a wall. Rey's able to grab her lightsaber and continue the fight. She uses Kylo's anger against him, tricking him into taking big swings at the Kyber walls that block his lightsaber and send him flying. His Kyber armor begins to crack. Rey has Kylo on the ropes. Kylo becomes furious, draws in all of the power of the room, and causes a huge explosion. Rey is knocked to the ground. The cracks in the room grow. Kylo pulls Rey's lightsaber to himself, grabs it, crushes it in his hand. And that should create a huge explosion, but he's able to contain that energy. His eyes are glowing red. His skin is smoking. Kylo pulls Rey into the air, gets ready to execute her, and Rey says, It's a lie. Kylo's confused. What? The lie that Snoke told you. The lie that Palpatine told Vader. Destiny. This power. It is too much. Too much pressure. The weight. The fear. It crushes you and turns you into something that you never had to be. It is not your responsibility to bring order to the galaxy or to save it. This does not have to be who you are. Kylo cries, This is who I am. This darkness has existed since before I was born, like my grandfather before me. Rey looks beyond Kylo and says, That is who you are. And Kylo turns around and sees himself reflected in the wall of the temple. And it reflects into the distance. Like the cave on Ahch-To, Kylo drops Rey and walks up to the wall. And he just sees himself. Rey walks over to Kylo and says, Those years ago, when you told me I was no one, I wanted purpose, destiny. It would make things easy. But learning that I was no one, it freed me, forced me to figure out who I really was. You never had that chance. You are no one. Kylo collapses onto his knees. Rey comforts him. And then our 6 other heroes and BB-8 enter the main hall. Rey hugs Finn and Poe. She asks, The First Order? It's finished. Looks like you got everything taken care of over here, too. I think so. I don't think he's a danger anymore. But then, the Earth begins to quake. Poe asks, What's going on? Rose takes out a device, gets a reading, and says, The core of the planet. It's unstable. Jedha is breaking apart. Then we gotta get out of here. It's not just that. This much energy in the Kyber, when this thing goes, it's gonna create an explosion that will destroy the entire star system. Rey says, what if I stay behind? Try to hold the Kyber together. Then Kylo says, You can't. But I can. I'll hold the temple together while the rest of you escape. I can do it. Rey says, Not alone. It's too much power, even for you. Someone needs to be here with you. Then we hear, You're right, as Leia walks into the hall with the rest of our heroes. Kylo Ren says, Mom? And Leia says, I missed you, Ben. Now go, the rest of you. Get out of here. But, Leia, this is my place. Here, with my son. Besides, I'm leaving the galaxy in good hands. Leia quickly says goodbye to all of the heroes. They leave her, and as they're almost out of earshot, Leia says, "May the Force be with you." And Rey says, "Always." And then they run up the stairs as the temple begins to collapse. Leia walks over and hugs Ben. He puts his hand onto the ground and strains to hold the temple together. And Leia lays her hands over his. Our heroes gather the Knights of Ren and run to their ships as they escape the planet right before it safely implodes. Movie ends with Leia's funeral. Sad but kinda happy. Maybe a speech or two from the main characters that we the audience can read as a tribute to Carrie Fisher, which I'm not even gonna try to write, but you get the idea.
And that's it. We don't get big epilogues for our characters the same way that you don't in Return of the Jedi. We could see these guys later. There's no Rey going to Tatooine, bearing the lightsabers, and deciding that she is now Rey Skywalker. She's just there with her friends, and they are moving on to a new chapter in their lives and a new chapter in the life of the galaxy. And that's the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker rewrite, The Spark of Hope.
Oh, and one more thing, and I've got some new stuff here. So you've definitely heard me talk about Nebula, the wonderful subscription streaming service made by me and a bunch of my creator friends. On Nebula, you can watch our videos without ads, support the creators you love, and watch Nebula original videos. I've made 3 videos in the Working Titles series. Nebula is full of other original videos by other creators you like. And if you like this video, the Nebula version removes the ad entirely, so that's awesome. But you may be wondering, what does this have to do with CuriosityStream, the excellent subscription streaming service devoted to nonfiction programming, documentaries, and stuff like that? Well, they love thoughtful content, and that is exactly what we make on Nebula. So we worked out a bundle where if you sign up with the link in this description, not only do you get access to CuriosityStream, you also get access to Nebula for free. This is not a trial, you will have it as long as you are a CuriosityStream customer. And you're going to be a CuriosityStream customer for a while because they have so many entertaining documentaries. And listen, I love the really dramatic documentaries like the ones on wartime history or space, but if I'm being honest, the CuriosityStream content that I happen to vibe with the most is their nature content, specifically their cute animal subgenre, like their documentaries on squirrels, which I've talked about on this channel before, red pandas, and their newest one on mustelids, which is the family of mammals that includes otters, badgers, weasels, ferrets, and the dreaded wolverine. Fun fact, when they started making X1, Hugh Jackman did not know that wolverines were a real thing. So don't feel bad for not knowing that much about Wolverines, because Wolverine did not know much about Wolverines. Anyway, here's the new and exciting part. Signing up for CuriosityStream at my link usually gives you a 26% discount on the annual plan for CuriosityStream. However, right now, CuriosityStream's offering a holiday discount, which is 41% off. So you can get a CuriosityStream yearly subscription that is an annual plan for less than $12, which is less than $1 a month. It is as good as this deal has ever been. You've got CuriosityStream, you get access to Nebula, all of our videos early, original exclusive videos, and everything we're going to work on for the next year. It is a terrific deal. Go to curiositystream.com/NandoVMovies, or just click the link in this video description and sign up today to watch all of those things. Like I said, it's awesome.
Hello there. As always, I want to give a humongous thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel on Patreon. You guys are the best. If you want to see your name up here, get access to videos early, other cool stuff, become part of the Nando V Movies book club, where we talk about a different comic book every month. I think this month's, I think I have it here. Yeah, we're doing the Grant Morrison Earth 1 Wonder Woman, which is a lot of fun because I've read the first 2 volumes, and yeah, I think it's a really interesting primer to Wonder Woman 84. Not that it's going to be the same kind of thing, but just like to get back in the mood. Also, listen to my podcast, Mostly Nitpicking, where every week me and my co-hosts DJ and Diggins pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. We've done episodes on Star Wars. We're going to do episodes on Wonder Woman and Soul and all the other movies that come out in the future. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are at NitPickingPod on Twitter. Also, buy some cool Nando V Movies merchandise. The link is in the video description. There's a pint glass, there is an enamel pin, there is a sticker, there's another thing that I'm going to be adding soon that I don't want to spoil the surprise of, but I really like that. This shirt is on the Patrick H. Willems merch store, so check that out too. And last thing, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. I am Nando V Movies on all of those platforms. That's all I got. Stay safe, and may the Force be with you.